agree that was really, really impressive? I imagine you share that opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as a team we wanted to make sure we came back to the MCG, and a big thing for us is making our people proud to belong. And I think when they would have seen the team today, they would have been proud of what they saw, the intensity, the effort, the commitment to roll. And in the end, we just wore them down in the end. It was probably a lot tighter game than what a lot of people think. But as a supporter, you'd come to here and see your footy club and say, I'm pretty proud to belong to this club today.
Clayton today, it felt like from the moment he came on, about 5 minutes in, he ran the show, changed the course of the game. How pleased were you with that?
I think every Melbourne supporter, you just watch him in awe. As we've said a lot in the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's just done a power of work on himself, and the club have been incredibly supportive of Clayton. They've helped him in that process. He's committed to it, and he's just come back a healthy, happy person that's committed to his training and his team. And we saw today evidence of that. He just wants to be a great teammate. And he did that today, and you could see the connection starting to build between teammates, everyone, supporters. There's a great love for Clayton at our club, and there's been a bit go on, but we're in his corner and we're behind him, and we want to see it succeed.
Tell us about that moment at the end. He comes off, he gets the standing ovation, the huge roar, the grin comes on his face, then you come in and bear hug him.
Yeah, look, we just had a connection for a long time, right from draft combine. It was a big part of that draft and getting him to our footy club along with Tim Lamb and Jason Taylor. And we've seen a young kid come through our footy club, and we want to make sure our people leave as great people and in a great space. And it's emotional for us all because he's such an important person to us. He's been a big part of transforming this footy club in the right direction since he's arrived. The competitive nature that he plays with, and to see someone grow through this, and he, in his own words, he's still got a lot of work to do, but he's well on the way to being a great person, a great player within our footy club, and that's the first and foremost thing for us.
In quiet moments in your own time throughout the last few months, did you ever doubt or fear that he would never get back to this level that he's currently showing? We're all human. Did those doubts ever cross your mind?
I think everyone had doubts. I'm probably sure Clayton had some doubts. But Gary Pert, Alan Richardson, and his management group, we've built a great plan for him to come in and execute, and along with the welfare and the medical team, and he's bought into it. And there's no doubt there were no guarantees 3 months ago about where this would end up. But right now we sit here with Clayton in a great spot, and you see the love that our supporters have for him. It was pretty evident when he came off today, as it is for me.
And that emotion that was clearly theirs, and also the coming so soon after another beloved member of the team retiring so prematurely in such sad circumstances. Is that also sort of like underlying that? Because you've just been through so much, and just to see Clayton come and really stand up when one of your soldiers is unfortunate to stand down.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what clubs go through. They go through patches in their journey of adversity, and and there's different examples of what adversity might look like, whether it be Angus Brayshaw, who's one of the pillars of our footy club, whether it's Clayton Oliver, whether it's losing finals footy, whether it's having some bad results, whether it's losing 3-0. You're going to have different forms of adversity, but you can always grow. You can always grow and use these opportunities. And Angus today is a big part of our footy club. We love what he brings to our footy club. We have for a long, long time, and he's an important person to us.
On Angus, people in the crowd wearing blue helmets, and obviously throughout the week it's come out that he's going to have some sort of role. Can you expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think it's great that our supporters can show what Angus means to them, and we've got a little award that we present internally, the Demon Spirit Award, that we have the helmet as part of our journey for this year, and our supporters are obviously brought into that. So he's going to be just dipping his toe into some of the just part-time work, later in the week. Wants to be around our group, and obviously on game day, just help being a bench coach. He brings enormous energy to our club, and today was the first step of that. We'll just continue to assess what that looks like.
Is there sort of a bit of almost dedicating the season to him? Is there a bit of that, or is that too much?
No, that's probably a bit too much. But there's certainly a legacy that he's left with our club. As I've spoken about Clayton, you go back to Angus about where we started with him and his journey. So there's a legacy that he's been able to leave around our culture, the way we go about our business, the way we train, the way we drive standards, the way we perform. And he's a big part of that. He's left a legacy and we want to honour that.
How'd he go today with his role on the bench, Angus? Like, it's very soon, like, it's
Yeah.
just cracking it.
Yeah, look, it was first crack, so it was new, it was good, it was very positive down there, which is what you want. You know, we want our players heading the field in a real positive mindset because that's when people really grow. So that was first and foremost his role. I'm sure we'll sit down and have a coffee during the week and debrief how it all went.
Simon, your forward line, obviously a lot's been made of your forward struggles in the last 7 or 8 games, going back to late last season, but it's looked as fluent and as connected as it's looked for quite some time today. How did you see how it all performed?
Thanks, Ronnie. It's the first positive comment we've had in our forward half for a while. Yeah, look, you know, we've lent into that, you know, around trying to get better in that space, and through the JLT, it was starting to build, and we had a pretty good night against Carlton in that space. Sydney didn't come up to our expectations in how we wanted to play, and we own that. Tough conditions, but we still own that we weren't very efficient. And today was a lot better. We transitioned the ball pretty well from the back half, and we looked to connect when we had the opportunities to, whether that was deep or short. So we're going to keep pushing that. We're going to keep training it. It'll keep having moments where it's not as good as what it can be, but we know that's one of our pathways forwards to the success we want.
Is that what we're going to see? I mean, did you just take what the Dogs gave you today, or are we going to see more of that uncontested mark sort of style, keepings off, building up a bit slower, and then it looked like you were going more central, inside 50, rather than going to the pockets a bit more? You were sort of landing that ball 20 metres out and targeting that and hammering that.
Yeah, we just want to connect. Now, in terms of the uncontested mark game, we sort of planned today that with the conditions that the way they are, there's going to be a lot of easy options to take with the ball. If you watch the history of the game in the last 10 years, round 1, round 2, round 3, when there's hot days, it becomes a bit more of an uncontested chain day. So we prepared for that. We wanted our boys to be really calm with the ball, and I think we saw that. Obviously, we had a lot of marks, probably more than what you'd normally get in the middle of winter, that's for sure. But that's the way the game's played early in the season. But we're able to connect, we're able to use the ball well and get some good transition.
And Jack Billy's seemed to really add a lot in that sort of era that you're talking about. Second game of the club seemed to be really impressive as well.
Yeah, he did. You know, he started to really evolve in our system, Jack. You know, he's worked really hard through the summer to understand, you know, the role that we want him to play, and you know, he's developed that in the few practice games leading in. It was probably a little bit stiff to be the sub in round 1, but he comes in today. Beautiful day at the MCG. He said to me, you know, why he wanted to come to the footy club was to play at the MCG. He just loves the ground, and I think today we saw the space and the connection and his kick all on show, which is one of his great strengths. So he's going to add a lot to us.
Harry Petty, how far away do you think he is, and how much does that change things for you? We saw a lot of experimentation last year with trying to get the right setup, and you got Tom McDonald down back. Yep. Ben Brown comes back in. There's still a lot to figure out. Yeah, look, Harrison's always been around getting him AFL ready for round 2. So he's going to be ready. So we'll look at that, how that looks through the week. But our forwards function really well today. Harrison's a high quality player that we think is going to develop into a really great forward for us as a footy club, and you know, he's done a power of work in the last 6 weeks to get himself to this position, and we'll have to assess that during the week. But you know, he had a VFL hit out. You know, it was all part of his training to get himself ready.
Can I ask you about the score abuse system? Seemed to really come to the fore today, like, especially in the first half. It just seemed like it was overkill. I don't know how you saw it, but it seemed to be a bit frustrating for all and sundry involved. Yeah,
look, I think we want to get it right. So that's the first thing. I think the worst thing we can do is get it wrong. So, you know, whether we've overcorrected and we're doing too many reviews, who knows? But the first and foremost thing, let's get it right. The AFL have done a great job in trying to get that to a position where they get it right. I think we saw last year when it's wrong, it doesn't go too well for us, so we probably shouldn't complain too much.
Thanks, Footy.
No worries.
No injuries today?
No, all clear except Jake Leber's cramp.